CultureTECH Britain TV. My name's Imran Azam. We're still here in Derry. Sorry about the noise, it's just the coffee machine. It's the best place we could find for the interviews. We're here at CultureTECH.co in Derry, Londonderry. You've got to give it its proper name, otherwise it's politically incorrect. And talking of politically incorrect, we're here with Alastair.
That was a lovely introduction.
Alastair, welcome.
Hiya, how are you?
Alastair Cameron. So, you set up Startacus. Mm-hmm. Okay, interesting play on words. Startacus. We think of men in capes with underpants and beards and not a lot of body hair. That's not the kind of image that I need at this moment in time. But if we can talk actually about what it is you do, that would probably be a good start. So tell us about yourself, what you're doing here at CultureTECH, and what Startacus is about.
Okay, cool. Well, I've been in Derry for 9 years. For about 7 of those, I was working in commercial recruitment and lost my job, was made redundant, and the marketplace here for jobs isn't brilliant. So it was at that point I thought to myself, right, it's either relocation or consider starting a business or working for myself. So myself and a colleague of mine decided we would work on a couple of ideas we had. And found that the support functions that are available kind of acted as a little bit of a barrier for us in supporting us. They weren't really too interested in what we were doing, or we lived in the wrong postcode, or we weren't the right age, and all of these things we kind of felt symbolised things that should be there to help someone from starting a business, and actually were acting as a barrier. So that's why we started Startacus, and we applied to the Arts Council for some money to basically set up the platform, which is Startacus, the Self-Start Society.
Okay, so to summarise, there are plenty of ideas out there. People have ideas, but a lot of the time people don't have the experience or the wherewithal to understand how to bring those ideas to fruition. And really what you're offering is, would it be right in saying it's like a virtual incubator type service, or is it a little bit more than that? We've got a prototype space which we are developing at the moment. There's been a couple of developments we've done on the space. It's basically a virtual workbook where someone can put down their ideas. They can put images down, they can put text down, they can put language down, they can put video down, and then they can also ask the community of people on Startacus to help them on that idea, whether it be concept or marketing or finances. And what we're trying to do is match up the person's requirements to the community, and also the mentors and services and handholders that potentially could help that person, and do it as quickly as possible, because that is an issue. Is obviously it's not just not knowing where to look, it's those people knowing where those people are in the first place. You also blog. Right? You've got a long history of blogging. What's your blog, and what's it about?
Well, obviously, I suppose the front end of Startacus is a blog, in that it's all about inspire information, news, information about competitions or startup funds that people can apply for. I've also got a site which is called The Employable, which is an employment blog which talks about employability and how you can improve your employability, whether it be self-employment, through unemployment, or change your career.
Obviously that must be quite popular at this moment in time, with a lot of relatively bad news about the job market at the moment. What do you think, in your professional and experienced opinion, Alastair, that the government is getting wrong about employment in the UK?
Oh crikey, many things. I mean, obviously I've written a post today about the fact that the public committee is addressing the fact that BBC executives were overpaid £2 million in terms of redundancy payoff, and £25 million in total, whereas we have potentially an estimated 1 million people that are sitting on 0-hour contracts. And I unfortunately went through the process of redundancy, and I was lucky enough to have the support of statutory redundancy pay, which isn't great, but it is something. And you just wonder how those people on 0-hour contracts would be supported if they were in the situation of being told tomorrow, look, this is the end, you're not working for us anymore. And at the same time, you've got government officials sitting down with BBC executives discussing whether £25 million was the right type of payment for people to be made redundant within the BBC. And it seems to be potentially a story that could be not being addressed by politicians as strong as it could have been, because obviously the implications are those people on 0-hour contracts are officially employed and therefore not on the unemployment figures.
I suppose the other problem is that with the recent universal credit system and the deferment of benefits for job seekers as well, that you could find it's a case that people on 0-hour contracts won't even have the state to rely on for a period of time as well. I mean, it does seem, this is not meant to be a political broadcast at all, but seeing that we're having a chat about this stuff anyway, so it seems that the government is very much pro-business and it's kind of skewed towards the power of business over the power of, or the rights of individuals.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, there's two things really. The government and obviously people need to be aware that the majority of people who are unemployed don't choose to be unemployed, possibly are unemployed because they have lost their job or because they have social difficulties or issues. There are a small percentage of people, and maybe that percentage is 15-20%, who don't care about getting a job, and that needs to be addressed. But the 80% who are unemployed do really want to work, but it's either lack of opportunity, it's potentially that the benefits system helps people to stay unemployed, or that they financially can't get a job because it would make them worse off. And obviously you've got to understand that someone wants to protect themselves and their family. And they're things that the government could do something to address. So yeah, that's an issue, and obviously, but most people, Derry included, has a hard-working population, but doesn't have many positions, for example, that a graduate could go into or step into, and you end up finding that a lot of people leave Derry and go elsewhere to find that employment, and we need to do more to address that.
So, if we bring this background to the tech industry and employment in the tech industry, I read an article recently by Dyson, and he was talking about the fact that there's too much of a focus from the government's perspective on what he sees as a bit of a fad towards the promotion of technology, because he cited an example saying that Facebook employs 4,000 people. JCB employs 150,000 people, and hence manufacturing really is where we should concentrate developing the economy in order to develop jobs. What do you think?
I think potentially in both sectors there's skill shortages, so I think that's an issue.
He did cite that actually. He said that there's a huge skill shortage within manufacturing. Yeah,
skill shortages within manufacturing. Obviously, certainly skill shortages within the IT sector. Big organisations, I mean, you cite Facebook, let's say Facebook as an example, let's hope that they have apprenticeship schemes that people can join without potentially going through 4 or 5 years of university. And if people need the skills to get those type of jobs, whether it be manufacturing or IT, there needs to be a better route. There needs to be a better route to entry for those people so that they can find employment. Because if we're saying that lots of people are unemployed, but there's a skill shortage, let's address that, and then let's maybe worry about the industry second. But if there's skill shortages, those people can find employment. Therefore, so there's jobs there.
So viewers have probably noticed that you don't have a local Derry accent, right? So you're born in Suffolk. You've spent time in London. You've now been in Derry for 9 years. What kind of place is Derry, Londonderry?
It's a great place. The people are great. I think it's probably if you then step off the plane and go back to Manchester or London or wherever you're going, and you go into a cafe, and you might not get the same friendly approach that you would here.
I've noticed that. I've noticed. I can't sit down and have a quiet cup there. There's a conversation to be had.
Yeah, no more will you no longer be able to have chit chat. I mean, obviously Derry folk love to talk, but they're friendly people, and obviously they've had to deal with a lot, obviously over the last 30, 40 years, and it's obviously made them strong people, strong characters, and from that. And obviously for the likes of CultureTECH, that's why culture and technology is so prevalent, because people are having to try to do something decent.
Okay, fantastic. Alastair, thanks for joining us. I do have one final question for you. We both discovered that we're Liverpool fans. Yeah. Where are we going to finish in the league? Come on now, come on. Put your neck on the block.
Well, I'm going to say top 4.
Top 4?
Top 4,
Is that what we've become?
That is what we've become, yeah, unfortunately. I'm not going to lie.
Right, well, this has been Imran Azam and Alastair Cameron, a couple of Southerners over in Derry. talking about technology and employment and government policy and anything else that came to mind over the last 10 minutes. Alastair, thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much.
We'll be seeing you very shortly with further interviews with other quirky, interesting characters from in and around Derry.